Welcome, everyone, to Kingston's premiere presentation of the Shoe Project.
Proverb. Positioning myself inside the trunk of the 5-seater Subaru wagon, I placed my shoes by my side. The car was full, so my niece and I rode to the airport in the boot. I was leaving behind everything I had known. I knew no one in Canada, but I wanted freedom, independence, and education. But the aching love for my parents, my family, and my country was deeply wedged in one corner of my heart. Nevertheless, I had made up my mind, and I was leaving. Fast forward, I arrived at Toronto Pearson Airport wearing white laced-up Skechers and ready, set, go. Like a Kenyan runner, I embarked on my life marathon. I had only $200 with me, which I thought it was a fortune because I was converting it into Kenyan currency in my head. I found it very difficult adapting to the Canadian culture. The feeling of social disconnect sometimes made me question my decisions, but I constantly reminded myself, I have to make it. I developed tenacity, finished my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, and started working. In my 7th year in Canada, I was heartbroken when I lost my grandmother, my shosho. I had not returned to Kenya since my arrival. Grandmother was one of the most enduring women I knew. I often spoke to her on phone, teasing her that I would bring her to Canada. She would laugh and tell me, "Oh, Aggie, you may never find me here. I'm old now." Those words repeatedly echoed in my thoughts. And I would beat myself up wondering, did she know she was going to die? Shosho was 110 years old, and her name was Julia. I missed to hear her gentle voice, her contagious laughter, her voice telling us stories growing up and teaching us traditional folk songs. Shosho would invite all her grandchildren to share a meal, no matter how small. Her generosity and unselfish love for us was something I greatly admired. I had never seen a shoe on Shosho's feet. She refused to wear them. Yet, she was the most happy, healthy, and content human I knew. I couldn't miss Shosho's funeral. Otherwise, I'll never forgive myself. I had to travel back and pay my final respects. I booked a flight and informed my family I was coming home. But sadly, they buried my Shosho while I was in transit. Couldn't they wait for just one day? Although I was happy to reunite with my people, I felt bereft. Much had changed in just 7 years. Perhaps it was a grief, the loss of those tangible connections and traditions. I felt apprehensive of the future I was once so certain about. So I returned to Canada and I bought myself a burial site, reasoning that if anything happened to me, being so far away from home, I wouldn't want to burden anyone. I suppose I was in a state of cultural dysphoria. My insecurities led to a traumatic marriage in Canada, beset with incredible abuse. Long story short, today I have two wonderful children that I love dearly. Despite all adversities, my children give me strength. While I was building on resilience, I lost my dad. I felt like the world suddenly shattered. Helter skelter, in Skechers, again, I raced through airports with my children to bury my father. Today and forever in my heart, I have profound appreciation for my dad's treasured proverb: when you fall, don't lie down there. Get up, dust yourself off, and keep